Welcome to the Curious Hearts Collective podcast, here to help you align to life in joyful, creative, and inspiring ways with your host, Vanessa Truven.
Welcome to the Curious Hearts Collective podcast, where we explore the possibilities in life to reconnect to your authentic self. My name is Vanessa, and I'm here to help you align your life in joyful, creative, and inspiring ways. In today's episode, we explore one of my most favorite topics of discussion, love. I love love. I love talking about it. I love exploring it. I love learning about it. It's something I'm just really excited to talk about. If you know anything about me, you know that I love love. And if you're just starting to get to know me, you're going to find out real quick that I love love. I love love so much that I created a career in the wedding industry because I love celebrating love. I really loved getting to work with brides and hearing their stories, learning about how they plan on celebrating their love, getting to be in a place where love was the star. Love was what sparkled and shined the most over beautiful candles and tea lights at weddings. And I loved Avanci. I loved my business. I had a bridal boutique called Avanci Bridal in Phoenix, Arizona, and my tagline was experience the fun in finding your forever dress. And I had love books of all of the brides that ever said yes to their dress at my store. Pictures of all the brides holding up their sign, and they got to sign the book, kind of like the Mean Girls Burn book, but the love book. And my logo was a little heart. I love love so much that I created a career around it. And I loved working with my brides. I loved the wedding dresses. I loved the industry. I just didn't love running a retail store. And we'll get into that. With the Curious Hearts Collective, one of my main goals, one of my intentions is to joyfully explore love for myself, with the people that I interview and come on as guests, and especially with the people listening, with the people watching, with the people who are showing up with a curious heart, with a curious mind, knowing that there's so much in the world to explore. And right now, we get to explore love. I have done so much journaling and self-reflection and a lot of intentional work to really know who I am, to see myself, to understand myself, to confront and work through triggers and traumas and events in my life, things that happened, and really understand who and what was the driving force underneath a lot of my decisions and my choices. And it has been a hell of a journey. It's been an adventure. And as I record this episode, I'm living in California. And I say that because I've been here for a little over 2 months. I used to live in Phoenix, Arizona. And something I always knew about me was I didn't like living in Arizona. I didn't like it. I didn't necessarily think I would come back to California. I just knew I wanted to live somewhere that had tall trees and mountains. I wanted to live in the mountains. I love tall trees. And I'm also living in California because I'm going through a divorce. And if you know who I am and you know who Dennis is and you know anything about me, you're probably listening to this confused, in shock, or maybe you're just like, nah, I'm in the know. I know what's going on in your life, girl. And if you know nothing about me and you're just listening for the first time, getting to know me, a part of you may at least understand what is happening in my life right now. And I get to be really honest when I say that that choice for separation, for a divorce, was one made out of love. I have gotten to know myself so very well. And I have been on a journey with Dennis as well, together and individually, in knowing ourselves and being fully present, aware members of our relationship, it has led to so many different awakenings and understandings about ourselves. So I know how I want to experience love. And I know and I see who I am. And I know and I see who Dennis is. And I get to be a gushing wife right now, friend, just partner in life to Dennis, because he is the most amazing, wonderful, incredible man that I know. I love him so much. I adore him. He has such a beautiful way of connecting with literally anyone. And he's warm and he's friendly. He's outgoing. He's so funny. He'll have you laughing. You're just like, you'll go from zero to, did we just become best friends in the span of 3 minutes? And he's so warm and inclusive. He's curious. He's bold. He's brave. He's daring. He's very firm in who he is. Basically, there's so much that I love about him. And because I love who he is and because I can see him, I see who he is authentically and I trust him. I know that the kind of romantic love that I want to experience in my life, we can't have together. And because he knows who I am and he loves me so much and he understands that what I want we can't have in our husband and wife relationship, he's also letting me go from that relationship. He's not letting me go bye forever. Nice knowing you. No. Before we officially agreed to separate, we renegotiated our relationship. We love each other so much that we knew that we would never in a million years want to let our relationship end. We get along so well. We're the bestest of friends, incredible partners. We know and understand each other so well. It's just one of those, I know how he's feeling when he walks into the room and I know something's up. And he knows and appreciates so much about me that so many people don't. And he sees greatness in me and encourages me to be myself and to strive for my biggest and craziest dreams in ways that no one ever has. And oh my God, it's just such a beautiful relationship that means a lot to both of us. Yeah. Nothing like the sorrow of love and grief that comes from love to really land and show ourselves how powerful it can be. Because, yeah, I experienced some sadness there. And duh, of course. But it's like, it's so interesting how strong it can be, the emotion of love, the positivity of it, even the dark side of it, the hurt, the pain that can come from love lost in any way, any type of grief, not just the death of a loved one, but in the loss of a relationship, a transition. Okay. That went somewhere I wasn't expecting it to go. But back to the topic of love and understanding yourself. And I know that in this journey to reconnecting to who I am, to seeing myself and understanding and aligning to my values, and I have really come to know who I am. And I say that as I get to experience this life today on planet Earth as Vanessa Truffin, I want to experience as much love as possible. I want to experience love in all its forms. And I want that exploration to be joyful, to be fun, to be something I do intentionally and aware for myself. So, what about you? What do you think is your experience on love? How do you view love? If you were to meet an alien from outer space and the conversation switches to the topic of love, how would you explain love? to somebody who doesn't know anything about it? How do you in your relationships, all of your relationships, define love? What does it look and feel like? I have a very distinct memory when I was a little girl, and I mean like little. I was at my grandma's apartment, sitting on my grandma's couch watching probably Sesame Street, if I'm being honest. And my mom was going to work. And she kisses me on the forehead. She walks towards the door, opens the door. She says, "Bye, mija, I love you." And my response was, "How do I know if I love you?" And I was really little. And I remember this situation, and I'll tell you why. So my mom closes the door and she walks back in. I have no idea what we talk about. I do not know what her answer was. What I remember from this moment was her telling me she loves me responding back with, "How do I know I love you?" And then her coming back. My mom is usually, my mom is notorious for running late to a lot of things. So in my mind, I knew it was a big moment when she closed the door, when she came back and we had a conversation, because that meant that this felt important because nothing would, my mom's already running late. I know that my mom's priority is to get to work. And she chose to come back in calmly, peacefully address my question. And I can only imagine that from the perspective of a parent, if your 2 or 3 year old child responds, "How do I know if I love you?" What do you say? How do you know if you love somebody? What does that emotion feel like? What thoughts go through your mind? And this is sure with parents, family members, siblings, and in romantic relationships too. How do you know that you love somebody? How do you know when you're in love? These are just a few of the curiosities that go through my mind around the topic of love. And I know I touched base on this a little bit earlier. I used to own the bridal boutique of Annecy. And this was my way of exploring love in a career, exploring my passions. I love love so much that I want to work with brides and get to be there one on one as they pick the dress that they're going to wear to one of the most important parties they will ever attend in their life. That's pretty badass. I loved a lot about what I did with Avanci, and I loved working with the brides. And I learned I didn't love working a retail store. So as I was deciding to close Avanci and in between starting the Curious Hearts Collective and everything that gets to come with it, I was exploring and really reconnecting with what happened. Why did I choose to close my store? It was doing so well. I was happy with it. And I realized that I lost my passion for it. Um, right after COVID, or I guess even during COVID, I spent time at home for the first time in a really long time. We were quarantined, and if I went into Avanci, it was by myself. So I spent a lot of time at home. And during that time, I sat and played the piano more. I had time to doodle. I had time to learn new recipes, to play board games, to just be in my home. And I hadn't had that in a really long time. I was always on the go. And when I went back to Avanci, like we still had amazing years, and I wasn't as committed to it anymore. I wasn't passionate about it anymore because I realized, wait, I have other passions and interests that I don't have the chance to pursue because oh my God, I'm always busy. I'm always working. I'm always here. And when I lost my passion for it, when I lost my love for it, when I lost my interest for it, my results reflected that. How I was showing up, disinterested, not fully committed to this business anymore, was reflected in my results. I didn't want to be there anymore. I didn't enjoy going into work anymore. And I knew that that wasn't sustainable for me. I am somebody who really needs to love what they're doing in order to be successful at it, in order to show up every day committed and in it, you know? What about you? Do you feel like you have to be passionate about something or really love what you're doing to be successful at it? I don't know what the answer is for you, and I don't know if it matters, but I am going to invite you to be curious about it and to see what comes up for you and what that means. Continuing on with the topic of love, I want to talk about how we can experience more love in our lives. Regardless of where you are in your life, do you think there's a possibility of experiencing more love? I know I've talked about in this episode how I lived in Arizona for 18 years, 18, 19 years, and have moved back to California. And I knew that I wanted to live somewhere that had mountains and trees. I love trees. I am the psycho person who, any single time we pass a really cool tree while we're driving in the car or walking around, I will point it out. Just like how someone's always pointing out cows, and you're like, oh my God, moo, hi. I point out really cool trees. I love trees. And let me share with you why I'm such a weird psycho lover of trees. I grew up in California. And some of my favorite memories as a little girl were around trees. There was a tree in my front yard that I would climb all the time. I would climb into the tree, I would explore the tree, I would do homework in the tree, I would read books in the tree until one time I fell out of the tree after an accident that I had had and injured myself again. And my mom got really mad and didn't let me climb the tree anymore. But I experience nature and trees and flowers, and that grounds me into the present moment. It brings my awareness from wherever my thoughts might be in a day, and it brings me right back to where I am. I love standing underneath a big, beautiful, strong tree. It's a way for me to experience the sound of the wind. I love the way that I can hear the wind rustling through the leaves of the tree. I can tell if it's strong. I can tell if it's softer wind. I love the way it sounds. I love the way that I experience light in trees. I love that if I move my head around a little bit, or if I'm standing perfectly still and a cloud is moving in the sky, I can see the light moving through the trees. I think that's really cool. If you look at any of the videos that Dennis and I created while we were traveling Europe, so many of them include shots of the light moving through the trees, the light moving through flowers, because I love looking at it. I think it's a beautiful thing to experience. I love the shade that a tree casts, especially when it's warm, especially when it's breezy. Oh my God, especially if there's grass. Just imagine sitting on the grass underneath the shade of a massive tall tree. And you can feel the wind, you can feel the breeze on your skin, you can hear it in the rustling of the trees, and then you can see it moving through the trees. That to me is one of my favorite things to experience. I love trees. I love it. And I love the changing of the seasons. I love getting to see the trees lose their leaves. I love getting to see them change colors. I love when leaves are crunchy. I love looking at the trees when they're bare because I love looking at when the new growth begins. I love it when they're full of life. I love them when I can hear birds. I love when I'm driving past them. I love when sometimes they're yellow and sometimes they're pink and sometimes they're purple and sometimes they're white. Sometimes the falling of the leaves looks like nature's confetti on the ground. I know what I love, and I have made it a point to be aware of noticing things to love everywhere. and every day in all experiences if I can. Because if I want to experience love in all its forms, I get to be intentional about it. I get to ground myself on what I love and be mindful of seeing that. Right now, at the time of me recording this podcast episode, there's so much hate and division happening in the world. So much. And my heart is breaking for it. And I'm angry. I'm frustrated. There are so many people that I love. And I don't mean my immediate family and my friends, just people that are kind, that are hardworking, that are genuine, that are funny, that are intelligent, that are human, that are having a really hard time. And a lot of people that just don't care or don't hear them to do anything positive about it. And for so many of us, life can be so challenging and stressful and overwhelming, and we feel like we don't have time for anything. That love just seems like a disappointment or something you'll get around to, something you fear thinking about or talking about. Maybe you've been hurt by love, and the ache and the pain and the wound stings and hurts a lot, and you're just like, nope, middle fingers to the sky. I don't even want to deal with you kind of love. But there are so many different ways to experience love outside of familial love, friendship love, romantic love, self-love, the love of your passions, of your interests, the love that you get to just see out in the world, that you get to experience, the love that you get to create. How are you experiencing love right now in your life? Do you see the places, not just in your life, but in the world where love is missing? What does the impact of its absence create in your life and in the world? Because I firsthand can see the absence of love and the impact it's having. I know I've asked a few questions in this episode, and I firmly believe that you'll hear what you need to hear. Whatever questions really stood out to you the most, I think get curious on that. Explore what comes up for you. And I'm going to really, really encourage you to talk to people. Talk to your family members, your siblings, your friends, your coworkers. Say, hey, I'm curious. What are your thoughts on love? Hey, I'm curious, if you encountered an alien and they asked you about love, what would you say? Hey, I'm curious. How do you know you're in love with somebody? Just for the sake of curiosity, just for the sake of having a conversation and understanding somebody else, and maybe even understanding yourself. I'd love to know what comes up for you. This is a topic of conversation that I am going to be talking about so much because I'm so passionate about it, because I would love for more people to experience more love in their life, because I know that when we show up as loving individuals and we give love, we're just spreading positivity out into the world. And why the heck not? It really needs us right now. I love you guys. Stay curious. Thank you for getting curious with me. Keep exploring what love means to you and how you experience it. And let me know what comes up for you. Thanks. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Curious Hearts Collective podcast with your host, Vanessa Truven. Don't forget to check out any of the resources mentioned in today's episode in the show notes down below.